So this is a brand new aquarium, so having the light off is going to be a good idea. Now we have a very good skimmer here, and at the moment the froth on the skimmer is white, which means it does not need to skim out. But what we do want to be aware of is how to set the skimmer properly. So right now the froth is right down there, which means it will never skim. So what we actually want to do is close this gate valve. With an aquarium, I would really recommend having a set of tongs, because I use them all the time. Yeah, there's some really good ones available, like the Max Spec ones. I really love them. I actually use them for cleaning up at home as well. And then that will allow you to sort of like dig around in the bottom if you have to, or pick up corals if they drop. So having tongs is something that I would definitely want. Yep, and then also I'd want to make sure I had an algae magnet. And then I would make sure I want a flipper. So the flipper's got like a blade on it, and it will allow you to give the glass a clean. So I would definitely want an algae magnet. I would definitely want a flipper. I'm going to want to keep an eye on this skimmer, because right now I'm concerned that the froth level is very low. While this froth is still white, I'm not that worried about it. But I also want to check the salinity, because I have a little bit of a feeling the salinity might be a bit low. And if the salinity is a little bit low, that's why the skimmer's not coming up. Because if we check the salt level and find that it's low, then the skimmer will not skim so well. If we, in a new tank, it's actually good to have the salinity a little bit low. So that might explain the skimmer. But when the skimmer starts turning yellow, we need the yellow froth to come out. And right now I have that skimmer fully closed, and it's only sitting there, which might actually make sense if the salinity is a bit on the low side, and because there's no nutrient in the water. But if you just put a little bit of food in there, just a tiny bit of prawn or a tiny bit of something to produce a bit of nutrient, and that starts turning yellow, I want the yellow to come up and get out of the skimmer. It's also going to need some fish food. And because this is currently a sterile environment, the skimmer's obviously not skimming anything, because there's nothing to actually skim out. So the foods that I'd probably want to get is Spectrum's probiotics, and also some Danichi Color. So if we get a little bit of food in there, we'll start getting the bacteria established. The other thing I would definitely want to do is put some copepods in there now.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah,
so and then the copepods are little microorganisms like a worms in the compost heap, and then they'll come alive and start like activating the system. And adding some good bacteria right now would be a good thing too, because what is going to happen next is we're going to put some fish in there. The fish are going to start producing waste, and then that's going to start our little ecosystem off. For now, while there's no corals, having the light off is going to be a relatively good thing. And then we just want to biologically get this tank started. Is very ready for some clownfish. I would start with just a pair of clownfish, and then I would want to give the tank a good month. During that month, we could slowly raise the salinity and start introducing some easy-to-keep corals. It's really important that every coral that goes into the aquarium is easy to keep, because we don't want to start looking at advanced corals. Once the light is on and once the corals are in there, then we'll be in business. So we don't need the light on for the fish, but we do need the light on for the corals, and we don't want to put the light on until we actually get some coral in there. Otherwise we're going to get algae for no reason.
Well, I think we'll have to go through some of the sea, won't we?
Yeah, well, this is an air-conditioned room, so we're hoping it'll be okay. But if we need to, there are some quite nice fans we've got available that blow the air over the top of the surface, and they can be used in the sump or in the aquarium to help cool the tank, because that's something we're going to have to be very aware of in summertime, because we don't want the tank to get too warm.
No. Because I wondered about that. I even talked to Luke about putting a refrigeration unit in, and he said, "We'll wait and see."
Yeah, well, if you need one, you need one. But then I really wish all of these companies would put like vents in the doors, because what can happen is you'll be amazed how much evaporation a tank will have. So this one's the auto top up, and then behind there we've got the float switch. So we need to keep this auto top up full of RO water.
Yep. Well, that's really, I'm down to my last little bit of that.
And we'll be shocked, and you'll be shocked, according to barometer readings or the humidity of the day or the air conditioning or whatever, you'll find some days that container will almost empty, and then other times you might go for like a week because of the atmospheric difference I can be shocked how much difference there is in evaporation. But the long and short of it is if you just check that once a day and fill it up as you need to, then you'll have a nice stable environment. But it's very common for people to think their tank leaks because you just don't understand how much evaporation you get.
Well, I couldn't figure out how it would leak because I couldn't see the water coming over the top of the sump. So again, I thought it must be either running down a tube or...
Yeah, that's right. So
somehow-
if the tank's leaking, we will find water, and which clearly there's not. And then the other thing is condensation. So if that's all closed up and that becomes a moist environment, then that area becomes condensated. And then with the condensation, it'll stick to the walls and run down the walls, and it's quite likely that you could feel wetness, or you might even get a drip of water out from condensation. You've got two pipes. You've got this pipe here, let's call that like a safety pipe.
Yep.
And then you've got this pipe here, which is going down to the sump.
Yep.
Now, when you look, and you've got this one that's going back into the tank. Now, you can hear that is actually making a sound
Yeah.
as the water goes back down. Now, if you look down here, you'll see there's a tap here on this one,
Yeah, the big black one.
and this one is the overflow. So if we turn this tap a bit, and if we close this tap off, it will change the sound. But ultimately, we want to turn it a bit and then leave it half an hour. Turn it a bit and then leave it half an hour. Now, if we're closing the tap, what will happen is this level will rise, and then eventually the water will go down this one,
Yeah.
if that's fully closed.
And that's what you want?
Well, it doesn't matter. You want the sound to go away, so you want to try it. So if we keep closing this, and we just close it a lot, hear how that sound's gone now?
Yeah.
It's not gone.
It's hard.
It changed.
Yeah.
That's why you've got to change it and leave it, and then change it and then leave it. If you shut the tap totally, the water will start going down this one. If you open it totally, it will not go down this one because the water in here will drop. So really, if you just shut it a bit and hear how it changed,
Yes.
you could hear it change. Well, that made it a lot quieter.
Yes.
So if you just do a little bit often, you'll end up getting this very quiet. And they're never that quiet at the start anyway, because the pipes, once the pipes are lined with your biomes, then the water goes through it doesn't have the friction. In the newer tanks, the pipes still have friction. So they're always going to be noisier. But this will get a lot quieter than it is now. So you've just got to know what you're doing and change it a little bit at a time until you make it quiet. But you will get it quiet.